I got a text from another. I didn't know the number at the time, obviously, which is Harry, and Harry texts me. In fact, I can even let me get the combo up. Let's have a look. Let's get the inside because I can't. It's so that long ago. I can't remember exactly. Here it is. Hello, mate. Harry from Farnham Town here.
Hello and welcome to the Game Day podcast, where we are speaking to Bobby Joe Taylor today. It's all about how he got into football, leaving Chelsea Academy and the risks he took in his career, going pro, why he joined Farnham Town, and what his relationships are really like with managers like Marc White and Jono. Enjoy.
Sweet. Let's get in. Oh, mate, it's well comfy. Get the seatbelt on.
Yeah.
So when did we decide to start doing it? Hello. Didn't get a haircut, that's why I'm wearing a hat.
Yeah, man.
There we go.
Lovely. Welcome to probably the nicest car ever. You've got a little armrest there if you fancy.
No, mate, this is actually
spacious.
unreal, mate.
This is my everyday car. Yeah.
Is it?
This is. I mean, you can tell I get paid the big bucks at Farnham, can't you? How are you doing?
Yeah, very well.
Good.
Very well. Can't complain, mate. Game day.
Yeah. I might just stick up the windows if that's right.
Go on.
Stick
Yeah.
on there. The aircon doesn't work. We could stick this on a little bit. It'll blow some kind of cold.
It's not that hot. I don't think, is it really? It's alright. It's average.
I'll start this off by I've asked everyone who's done the podcast the same question of how did you get into football? Like, what's your earliest memory of kicking a ball around? Like, who was that kind of person who put it in front of you?
My dad. Shout out to my old man. Still a massive influence, to be fair, in like, you know, all my footballing decisions to this day. But my memory, my first memory will have to be in the garden, kicking the ball in the garden. I think from when I actually can remember, it probably would have been younger than that. But Dad bought me a five-a-side. You know, like if you go into an indoor sports hall and they have those goals, so like not like an actual five-a-side goal in the back of the garden.
Oh right, well, like the mini ones.
Yeah, so like obviously, you know, we had a nice house, whatever. We had a decent sized garden. Dad was a carpenter, so he built a massive workshop in the back of the garden down the bottom end for him.
Yeah.
And then just in front of that, he put a little five-a-side goal in there for me, and you know, I mean, it would have been before that, but he put that in there, and I can remember playing. We used to play out in the garden all the time, every day after school, and I'd get home. All I wanted to do is play football, and he used to go out in the garden with me, and that is the way of a one-to-one session nowadays. So now you can get one-to-one. Actually, in fact, I do one-to-ones. You know, Great does them in the team as well, and Zaki does goalkeeper. But back in the day, I make myself sound really old, but back in the day, like that wasn't actually around. So that would have been my one-to-one training, and it was funny because obviously I scored. Obviously, I know you probably talk about loads of things today, but when I scored the first game of the season against Hungerford, my dad said to me, he was like, when you scored that goal, it just reminded me of when I used to take you back like in the back garden. I used to play at home, like just as a kid. And I remember little things when he says things like that to me, because obviously it means quite a lot. But yeah, from as far as I can remember, the first time kicking a ball, to your question, would be probably when I was about 6 or 7, like in good memory, like playing in the garden. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh wow. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Like now you get loads of like you said. Now you get the one-to-one sessions, but probably when you were starting out, it was more like academies, and that was kind of it, really. Like in terms of young talent, I don't know if I might be wrong in that, but
yeah. Well, I mean, like it was all grass. Everything's just grassroots, and it's like, you know, grassroots football, and then tournament football was the main thing. Like then, like to be fair, because I remember obviously I played for my local team, Kennington Juniors, and luckily I was pretty good as a kid, like that young kid, and we played in a tournament in Tunbridge, and that's when I got scouted by Alf at Chelsea, who I still speak to this day, to be fair. Yeah, but like that was it. Like other than that, otherwise, like, you know, you're looking at probably location is quite a big factor, I think.
Yeah.
Where I'm from in Kent, there was always people that were half decent players, but there's not so many big teams around, so there wasn't really much opportunity. Whereas you go around, I didn't even look. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We just nearly had an accident because someone's just decided to pull out in the middle of the road without looking. So anyway, luckily, you know.
We haven't had an accident on the podcast yet. That would have been the first.
So yeah, no, look at the London boroughs and all the opportunities that everyone gets there because of, like, you know, it's such a hot property around there. Like, it's so, you know, everyone lives in London. Everyone is exposed to football and all the London clubs, and that is like the hub of it, really. So I got quite lucky. But yeah, but as I said, one-to-ones wasn't around. I mean, not that I knew of anyway. So it used to be me and my dad in the back garden, and then it was grassroots football, and then it was tournament football. So if you was outside of the London boroughs, you was going to the tournaments around those areas, and then hoping that maybe someone might be there watching. But yeah, so yeah, that's sort of my memory of how you were trying to be successful, as you like. Whereas now you can get one-to-ones from anybody, anywhere, and a lot of people have contacts. So if you're good enough, people will put you forward.
Yeah. What was the Chelsea academy like? How many years were you there for? Were you there for?
5 years? No. Sorry, no. I was there from under sevens, because I think the system works a little bit different now. So you can't actually get signed up until I think you're under 8.
Oh, right.
But when I was there, I was like under 6s, went into like the pre-academies, skipped that straight away after one session. They popped me into Cobham, and yeah, but I was there until under 14s.
Okay,
so no, it was longer than 5 years. Yeah, so that was. I mean, that's like what everyone dreams of, really, isn't it? As a kid, like when you're playing football, and then you get to know it and understand it and more, and then you know you have a team, and I support Chelsea, so like, you know, that was superb. That was super.
So what was it like? So did you get released from Chelsea, or did you leave?
Funny enough, I didn't actually. We left. God knows what would have happened if we stayed, but I'm still, you know, super proud of achieving the chance to you know, train at Cobham and have that opportunity, and I still, you know, don't regret any of our footballing decisions that me and my dad made together. That's how we look at it. It was never an individual, it was something that we both did together. And obviously as a young kid, I found it difficult at the time, but when you're looking at a footballing journey and where you want to go, like, what will be anyway. Like, you know, if you're meant to play there, you're meant to play there. If you're not, or you'll get there, like, as long as you are invested. So I was a late developer. You know, like, when I say that, I mean, I was playing with the likes of Nathaniel Chalobo, who played 2 years up and then would still play for us, and where's he now? He's at Leicester, isn't he, I think? Lewis Baker, playing at Stoke now, played a year up, that they bought from Luton. Like, you know, these players come in that were real big athletes. You know, they were proper athletes, really athletic players, and well developed. And I was a late one, so I started off my career as a number 9. I was a striker. I mean, they rotated around, but I scored many goals, and I could have signed for many of academies at the time. And we picked Chelsea because we thought that was the best academy, and obviously being a fan myself, you know, that was the choice.
Yeah.
And then as I was going through the age groups, I started to filter further back and back down the pitch, and I ended up being a left back. And you know, it's not to say that wouldn't have been my best position, but you know, we didn't really want to do that then. Me and Dad, it was like, you know, I was a creative player playing forward, and just because of my size, I sort of just like dropped back down. So we decided to come away from it, which is, you know, is a hard decision, but. And then on that story, we went to on trial at Palace, and I went as a centre mid, right? And for 6 weeks, and on the last week we had to play the year above, and the left back was out, so I had to play in that game as the left back. They asked me to come back for another 6 weeks to look at me at left back, and we decided not to. So, but
wow, did not want to.
So
be
it was
left
crazy.
back.
Like, it was crazy. Just didn't want to. I didn't want to at the time. Obviously, as a youngster, we didn't want to do that. So
yeah.
But no, it wasn't. We didn't get released. I mean, whether I would have or not at that year, we don't, like, genuinely, we don't actually know. But we came away from it and then decided to pursue elsewhere and play probably more so where I would have liked to have played. But you know, this goes to show how, like, you know, everyone's got an opinion of football, right? So me and my dad thought no, and other people thought that probably would have been where I could have been successful. So, like, you know, and then other players, I ended up playing centre mid at my other clubs and left midfield and left wing. So you just don't know, do you? You know, it's a tough old game. It's never plain sailing, put it that way.
You know, the managers might have different eyes to, like, they might want you to do different things. And I mean, I guess more recently, you know, Jono's playing you more in that 10 midfield role, as opposed to, because I mean, I think you were going to be left back for Farnham at one point until Brandon.
Yeah, but it's crazy. It is crazy. No, and even then, I think I was going to maybe not even play down the left-hand side, and I think well, I mean, I don't want to speak too much, but there was maybe a change of formation. I might have played somewhere else, which we might still use at some point as a secondary one. To anyone that watches the podcast, not going to give anything away. Sorry. And after the first game of the season, pre-season game, the way I played, they asked me if I'd ever played there before, and I said I can play anywhere. I say that humbly, by the way. I mean, like, in terms, because I don't like the fact that I am such a utility player or versatile, because it is good, but it's also not good, because you don't cement sometimes a place down, which happened a little bit at Dorking sometimes, especially in the last year when I was sort of like filling voids, really. Yeah. But yeah, no, listen, like, everybody's got their different opinions. Like, I see football differently to what everyone else does. Like, you as a coach, you have your own ideas. You know, as a manager, you have to make decisions and have emotional contacts with players, and there's so many things that plays a part. But yeah, I was excited about signing here because I knew about, like, the system of play, and then when there was talks of it possibly being different, I was like, you know, I've been doing that for a while now. I'm sort of like, I was quite excited by the thought of it. So when he asked me, I was like, yep, absolutely, would love to. You know, and I can play. You know, I could play as a 4 if you wanted to me. I could play as, you know, wherever you want, if you need me, like, no issues. Exactly like Joe Jackson, the absolute Mascherano of our team, mate. Javier Mascherano, Joe Mascherano Jackson, Mascherano, so however you want to say it. That is what he does. He is superb at it. I've got to give him a shout out because I love him, mate. I think he's a top player.
I think the only position he didn't play last season was up top. I think that
mate,
was it.
Honestly, he could play anywhere as well. It's similar to, like, that's what I love. Like, he's just unique, and genuinely, that geezer does not have a panic button, mate. And like, watching him play, like, even when he makes a mistake, don't care, because, like, some of the things he does, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying it because I've said it to him myself. Like, I was pleasantly surprised by, like, if you looked, and I think people say, like, I love him to bits, but if you looked at Joe, you wouldn't think this geezer's going to be as good as he is. Like, genuinely.
Yeah,
and that is a famous saying to people like you, and everyone always has their own little things where you think, but you'd look at him and think, there's no way he's going to play like Mascherano. And then you watch him play, and he's like, I think he's better than Mascherano.
Levels above.
Mate, Mascherano must be watching him in awe, mate. But yeah, anyway, so no, I didn't want to play down back that end of the pitch, to be honest, mate. Yeah. And then turns out that I ended up playing further back in that pitch. So if I'd have listened, I might be playing in the Prem. Nah, probably not. But no, but still, like,
it's always a what if thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you never know. So like, there's no point thinking about it. Like, you just crack on. I'm still very, very much proud of my journey. Yeah. That me and the old man, well, all my family, but more importantly, me and my old man have been on. And he still sort of, you know, makes his way up with his old age down here to come and watch. On most occasions, he's got himself a season ticket, you know. So, nice. But we're proud of, you know, I've got fortunate enough to live every childhood dream of being a professional football player. And saying that I did that and playing in the football league, and then I played National League for like step one pretty much my whole career up till now. And then this is the part where your legs start to go.
I was going to say, you've played for some big clubs and in some big moments as well.
Yep.
Can you kind of talk me through, like, I'm trying to think, I read your Wikipedia this
Did you?
morning. So
Funny enough, I did a podcast with In the Mind Of, and I'm going back to West London to do the Boot Room one.
All right.
First time I've ever done a podcast on his one. He was like, Jamie McCready, his name. He's a nice guy. He was like, afterwards, he said, I'm very surprised you've never done a podcast before, the way like you speak. So I said, I think I'm just a social person, mate.
Yeah.
I could public speak, but so he invited me back, so I'm actually going to do one of those
Nice.
again. But yeah, he did the same, because he come and asked me so many questions, and I was like, how do you know this? And obviously done his research. But yeah, sorry, go on.
So you come out of the academy, obviously do.
So I come out of
do like
Chelsea, then I went to Gillingham
Yeah.
for 2 years, didn't get a scholar, and then I went to. So I can go through that if you like.
Yeah.
So obviously, coming out of Chelsea, we then didn't do Palace. Had the opportunity to try them elsewhere, but we just decided to go locally because I'm from Ashford in Kent. We're trying for Gills because I knew Darren Hare. We used to take Josh Hare and Jake Hessenthaler, Andy Hessenthaler's son. We used to share journeys to Chelsea when we were kids.
All right.
So when we was going in there, I was thinking, I'm going to get a scholar here. Like, you know, not only do I back myself footballing wise, but I think I know him as well. We sort of share something that's going to happen, and it didn't. But another setback. Never mind. And then it was the exit trials. So the exit trials is where you go and play against all the other people that got released at 16, and then it gives an opportunity for loads of scouts from representative clubs to come and watch and maybe pick up something that others missed, because obviously again, football's about opinions, right?
Yeah.
And again, people might have more ties with other people. That is just how the football industry works. Like, there's no point sugarcoating it. Some people just have a connection. They might get on with the parents. Like, that is just life.
Yeah.
So anyway, we did that, and funny enough, I actually got recognised and an opportunity to go out to Glasgow, and I had a trial at Rangers, and they flew me out there, and I stayed in Morag's B&B all by myself.
What age was that?
16.
16. Wow.
Just before they went into administration. So luckily it didn't work out, but you know, they were pretty transparent with me as well. One of not many that were very open and honest, and just sort of said, look, like, we do think you're a good player, but you're not as good as what we've already got, and some of those we're going to be getting rid of. So fair enough, but that opportunity and experience was class anyway. I didn't expect anything, you know, probably to come of it, but I went and gave it my all. And then I went to Cambridge United at the time, which were in the Blue Square Bet Premier back then. So it wasn't the Vanarama National League, it was a Blue Square Premier.
All right. I didn't know that.
And I had a worldy trial there. I scored a left foot volley from outside the box. They played me left midfield. And then 5 minutes later, I had a right foot one, and it hit the post. And after that, they wanted me, offered me a scholar at the place. So this is a National League club at the time in terms of it. And then my favourite ever time of playing football was at school, my school football team, with all my school friends, and I'm like real tight with all of them. And to this day, you know, I still speak to most of them, like pretty much most of them. But we had an awesome team. It was only me that was at an academy, but the rest of us all played pretty much district, or for, you know, county football. So we had a really good team, as opposed to some people that have 2 or 3 and then the rest make up the team. I mean, we actually had 11 players that were good. We never lost a home game. Lost a home game at school. We won 5 years on the trot from year 7 to 11 the Ashford Cup every year. We never lost at home, and then we won the Kent Cup, and then we made the English School Cup semi-final, and we lost on penalties, but we should have won. I should have scored late on. Right? This is a funny story. So after the Cambridge thing, we then go and play at Loughborough University English School Cup semi-final. So this is all schools across England. Like, this is like, we beat teams that had like a load Watford Academy players and all sorts of, like, we were quality. Shout out to all my Tower School team, right? Which, you know, I could go through them all, but so we go in there, and I've got offered a scholar at Cambridge, but I've got a bit of time to think about it. But they want me to come back within a week or so, and we go and play the school's English Cup. We draw 2-2 in normal time, and in like the 89th minute, I'm through on goal, and I should square it probably. But alternatively, I should score as well.
Yeah.
I should have scored. I missed. And we go to pens, and our lad takes the first penalty, and Mr. Keeper saves it. But he goes down my mate goes down the middle. The keeper dives to his right and saves it with his ankle. Little did we know at the time, he's broke his ankle. Saved the ball, broke his ankle, right? So if you went the other side, every other penalty, he would never have made it. Yeah. Oh my God. He saved the third penalty taker. He saved with the same ankle. Can you imagine?
Oh man, that must be
so like, and we've gone out on penalties. So like, everyone's like sort of like upset and emotional, and some are crying and all that stuff. And I'm like, head in the hand.
How old were you then?
16.
16 still.
And all of a sudden, I get scouted from Leicester and Stoke, and they asked me to go on a trial. Up there at Leicester and Stoke.
Yeah.
And then me and Dad had to make a decision over whether we turned down Cambridge, who needed to know really, because at the time they were trying to get their get everyone set up, because they'd have to get somebody else in, etc.
Yeah.
Or do I risk it and go on trial, and then I don't know where it goes from there. So we decided to sign for Cambridge. And it allowed me to not get distracted and move away from my hometown and go and play and live in Cambridge, which was a lovely city, mate, a great university. It was a really beautiful place. So yeah, I spent the next 4 years there, 2-year scholar, and I got my pro 3 months early at 17, because I was doing really well and I was training with the first team all the time. I was in the squad sometimes. So they gave me a professional contract early, and I did 2 years there. And then that was my first pro deal. And then coming away from that, they offered me a new contract, Cambridge, but I was turning 21 and the money wasn't very good for some of that age, and I tried to sort of take away bonuses and everything else that they tried to get me to stay for a better basic wage, just so I could get by really. I didn't want to miss that opportunity, but they wouldn't budge.
Yeah.
It's a shame really, because even now, Jez George, somebody I spoke to still after I left, because there's never any bad blood, like no love lost. This is again football. He said to me afterwards that he wished he had, sort of just said back then.
Yeah. So you never really know, like.
But and that was unfair to him. And I said, look, well, listen, it is what it is. Like, I decided not to, and I could have sacrificed the little bit of extra money that I wanted to get by at that age, and just try to prove myself even more, because I did have 8 League 2 appearances, FA Cup appearance, Johnson Paint Trophy. I was with the first team quite solidified by then, but gradually just getting more game time. Maybe I should have bit the bullet and decided, but I thought, you know what, I want to go and just play. You're not coming off here, you know that, don't you?
I do now.
Oh. I just wanted to go and play week in, week out, pretty much, regular football. So yeah, that's what we did. We decided to turn that down, and then I got a phone call from Jay Saunders at Maidstone United. Funny enough, because he bumped into Ian Miller, which was my captain of Cambridge. Okay. When I was there on holiday, and he was like, one of our lads just turned down a new contract, mate. He's really good. Like, and Maidstone in the Conference South, he just got promoted. And he gave me a call, and I went, and that was 20 minutes from my house. So, and I was like, do you know what? That's all right. Conference South. I'm only 20 years old at the time. Let's do it.
Okay.
So I signed there, and we got promoted that season. That was, what a season that was, mate. That is promotion to the National League in my first season coming out of, after just leaving that league. League 2, but I'd already been in that league with Cambridge. Come straight into one season with Maidstone, and I scored in the playoff final. And mate, that was probably that's up there with one of my most memorable and favourite moments of all time, because we played Ebbsfleet, who had been taken over and had a lot of money and had some really good players that I went on to play with, and are doing really well in the game now at Tottenham as a coach. Stuart Lewis, it was captain me of Dover as well. What a guy, what a player. But they had some really good players. Danny Kedwell, he played for them then, and we were part time at the time. It was the first season of part time. Yeah, Maidstone was South. We were part time to start like that first season because obviously they'd come from the Ryman Isthmian Prem, So that was we went 1-0 down, 1-0 down. Then I equalised to make it 1-1, take it to extra time. They scored a penalty in extra time, and then we scored like right at the death to take it to penalties. And then we won on penalty. The scenes, mate.
I think the emotions that football makes you feel was just...
Jesus Christ, it was. and the Maidstone fans are proper. They are class. Like, I had a really good song at Maidstone, the best one ever. Spandau Ballet, Gold. It was changed with Bobby Joe, always believe in your soul. You got. Yeah, they were brilliant, and there was a canvas in there of us all celebrating together. So that was that's one of my, I've had that experience again when I was with Dorking. So and that was class as well against Ebbsfleet. Funny enough, it was my former club at the time. I left there to go to Dorking, and we beat them in extra. We beat them in extra time, mate. It was horrible. But I think if there's ever any competition where I'm playing and it's against Ebbsfleet in a playoff final, I think everyone will be shitting themselves because it seems like I might be a curse. But anyway, so that was it. Maidstone. That was the Maidstone story, and then we got promoted, and I got to play in the National League then for a season with Maidstone. Then I parted ways because we couldn't come to an agreement, unfortunately. And I had England C that year. Yeah,
I was going to say, but what was that like, the England C?
Yeah, that was good. But again, it's the small wins, really, mate. It's like haven't got to represent my country under Gareth Southgate, for example, or under Thomas Tuchel right now, because that's where the top athletes are. But they have England C is basically you being able to represent your country from a non-league perspective. So it's all of the best players at National League level that Paul Fairclough would choose from going to watch games. And obviously I got selected that season because I'd scored 8 goals for Maidstone. And I was only 21 that season, sorry.
Yeah.
So, and it's an under 23 situation, so it's exposure for you to any other clubs as well. So that was a real good experience, going out there, meeting some players that went on to do quite well, playing the Football League, for example. And
do you think it helped in any way?
Yeah, no, it did. Yeah, and like the way you did things up there, we played away against Jersey, like a little small one, I know, but like you earn your cap that you get, and you get to meet. And Bill Fairclough's like sort of, bans phones, so you can't be on them. You have to socialise. You partner up, and you have to talk about your journey so far in football.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite good, and you learn quite a lot, and it almost sort of like makes you feel a bit more comfortable, confident, and a bit of a character inside that you have to come out with.
Yeah.
So that was quite surreal. And at the end of that game, I actually got asked to sign for Stevenage.
Okay.
So Stevenage offered me a contract in the Football League, year with the year option, but it was no accommodation. It was 2.5 hours away, and it was a tough choice. And I had pretty much every National League club asking me to go there.
Yeah.
And that is when I went to the shots.
Yeah. Oh.
Because of the Wad father, what they call Gary Waddock, one of a very few really good good person, manager wise, as you say.
Yeah.
Very good tactically, very great guy, very soft with how he deals with things, but has a temper. Tactically very good. He sat me down after I'd met with a lot of clubs. It was like I was in an interview, and I love stuff like that, right? Being a football player, like you going in and being promised the world it means it's no good for you, mate.
No.
I sat down and he said to me like how would you describe yourself as a player? Where do you think your best position is? Where do you think you'd fit in this system? How would you handle things if you was playing well but I pulled you out? Because that's what I do with my teams. Like, and it was like, well, okay, it wasn't you're going to come here and play every week, here's a contract. It was like he wanted to get to know me. I had to answer him. I described stuff and he said that's what I had down. And I left there thinking this is where I'm meant to be. And my dad said the same. So signed there, and I mean that was a great decision because I played. Even he said to me at the time at 21, I'm so surprised I didn't think you was going to be this good. And I played 8 games and I was flying, and then I done my MCL, and then I was out for 2.5 months, and you could tell he was gutted, and that's what I loved about him. Like, he was like sitting in the office and he would be like, how are you? Like, how is it? What have they said? Like, how long do you think you're going to be?
You'd actually care.
Like, he was like, if you didn't have that injury, like, I think we'd have lost you in January. And I was like, oh, you know, this is football, right? This is the tales of football. So, that's the England C story, and that's how I ended up at Aldershot, mate. I then didn't sign a new deal at Aldershot because I'd come back from injury, and anyone that comes back from a knee injury always takes a little bit of time. And obviously then they must have not been able to afford how to like take that gamble, so we separated ways. And then I went and signed for Bromley, who I turned down before, but I turned down them honestly, and I told them why. I said I'm going to sign for Aldershot outside of my comfort zone, that's why I'm not signing here. Anyway, I signed there, and I didn't start the first game of the season. I then started the next game, and I didn't really play. So, and they were trying to get me to go on loan at the time. Neil Smith was the manager, and I think he was holding a grudge against me because I don't know what I'd done. I didn't even have an opportunity to showcase, so it couldn't have been the footballing reasons. But this is what I mean, sometimes this happens. And then they were trying to get me to go on loan to the league below, and I knew I was too good to go to the league below. So I said no, and I held out. And then it was where that bit of luck comes in, where Dover were sitting in the bottom 4 of the National League on 7 points, 15 games in, not looking good. No. Andy Hessenthaler gets the job. Told you, obviously, I know Hess before, with Nicky Southall and Trigger. And I get a phone call. Trig's like, do you want to come and sign for us on loan at Dover? And again, not far from my house where I lived. It's like being at home. So I snapped his hand off and said, I'd love to. Because they knew what they were getting. Like, when you know somebody, they already knew me. So they knew that, you know, we're in a bit of a shit situation at the minute. We need people that are good characters. They'll understand how we want to do things, and we'll be invested in doing it. So he brought me, Jay Reason, Stuart Lewis. You know, he brought people like us in, Kevin Locko, I think he'd bring Locko in. Yeah, we ended up finishing top half of the table come end of the season, and we got everyone thought we were getting relegated. That was class.
Big turnaround.
That was class. And I signed a 2-year deal there when I went. That year I was on loan and then signed a 2-year deal, and then obviously we did that next year, and then COVID hit us through that year. And then that was a bit of a killer, really. And then moved on from there. A lot of clubs, Jack. To be quite honest. Until from there I went to Ebbsfleet, obviously, and that was during the COVID still. And then after there, that was when the COVID season hit. Before they actually curtailed the season, Marc White come to watch a game against Hungerford. We was against Hungerford, Ebbsfleet. We were 2-1 down with 10 men. And I can't lie, I was a joke in that game. I was a joke. Like, even I was like, when I watched it back, I was like, where does that come from? And I was really good. And Mark was like, to Jamie O'Hara, now, who's this player? Like, and then from that moment, he was, well, not indirectly, but people that I knew were like, you know, Mark really, really wants to get you in, like, you know. Like, he proper wants to get you in. He keeps talking, he keeps asking me to speak to you, what are you doing next year? Like, if you want to go to Dorking, And then he was, I'd get voice notes from him. And I love Mark. Like, as a person, he's quality.
What's he like as a manager as well?
Yeah, I mean, as a manager, like, listen, Mark works in a particular way, and you know, he stands by what he believes in, and you got to respect that. And his football knowledge is good. It is good. It's very good, to be precise. But you know, in the football aspects, at times me and Mark just didn't see eye to eye as such. Like, it was nothing other than the love outside of football, like off the pitch, and even now is like uncanny. It's, you know, we get along really, really well. You know, I still speak to him a lot. You know, I spent 4 years with him. He's done a lot for me, to be fair. You know, and if you needed something, he can be somebody you could call in a heartbeat, genuinely. So it's just in the football terms. You know, sometimes I didn't do things that, you know, were required of me or what he asked, and I think, you know, sometimes that sort of shoots you in the foot with him a little bit, and then I'd get throw my arms up and get a bit, you know, stroppy about it, and then he didn't like that reaction. But then the next day we'd walk in and there would be a cuddle, and like, you know, it was like a love-hate situation. And like, you know, the funny thing is, you know, he's still, you know, we don't mind talking about it. He still offered me a contract, like, just gone. I could have stayed at Dorking, and I would have done. You know, that, like, you know, he did offer me a pay cut. To be fair, because obviously, you know, we didn't go up that year, and like, you know, that's football. I completely understand it. Yeah. Quite a considerable one, and I told him that I couldn't do that, having a baby with my missus and stuff like that. You know, I've always had football, you know, and still I do the coaching as well, but still, you know, it's a difference. And he tried to make it work. You know, he tried to do what he could to try and make it work, and then in the end, while we were trying to go back and forth, during that period, I was like, it's not hard for me to leave the football. Like, me saying, like, I'm leaving, I'm not taking a contract, what you've offered me, I want to go and find football elsewhere. That wasn't the hard part. The hard part was cutting the ties with all the people I've built relationships with within the football club. Mark, all the players that still played there, loads of the fans that I speak to still, like, they're literally exactly like Farnham. It's the same feeling around the place, the same atmosphere. They're really nice people. They come and speak to you. They message you, like, they're always like, it's great. Yeah. So, you know, and then all the staff, cutting those ties was the difficult bit for me, because I'd never spent longer than 2 years at a football club.
I was going to say 4 years is a long time.
So 4 years is a long time at a club, and there's players that have been with Mark for 10, right, a decade. But 4 years for me was huge, and it speaks volumes. And that's why there's a credit to it, and I still work there, and it's still a place that, you know, I'd be able to call home when I live 10 minutes away. You know what I mean? So it holds a special place for me inside my heart, and that's why I follow them still everywhere, and I still talk, and I want them to really succeed for everyone involved. So, like, there was literally no love lost. Yeah. And you know, me and Mark, he always has a joke to me and that, and says, like, you know, I'm going to get you when you come back at some point. Blah, blah, blah.
I remember watching the video when they played us in pre-season, and he said they're going to struggle to hold on to him because we want him back, and I thought, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, but, you know, and you know, with Mark, like, there is a lot of truth probably behind that, and at the same time, there's a lot of, like, if I was to say, like, I don't actually want to, or something like that, he'd respect it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, he told me on many occasions, like, he said to me, I should never have let you go. That was a bit of a mistake. Like, and he sort of said that to me. And it's nice to hear, but at the same time, listen, it doesn't matter. You know, we still got a great relationship. Yeah. I still help him out. He does the same to me. I still, like, you know, some of my youth players have been with him in behind closed door friendlies, and I was part of the management team. So, you know, there's a real strong bond and connection that we have, but just for the football side of things, last year it didn't work, and that's, like, again, that's football. So I'm just glad that anywhere I've been, I've never burnt any bridges, to be honest. I've always been like that in football. You never know who you need one day. You never know, you know, who might get what job. You never know what, you know. So it's always good to be friendly with everyone and respect everything. So, and everyone's decisions, because that's football, mate. So yeah.
So how did the Farnham kind of conversation come about? Because rumour has it Harry had to sell a few cars to get you.
That was funny, mate. Yeah. That was what I said in my interview, because it's funny because I got a text from I didn't know the number at the time, obviously, which is Harry, and Harry texts me. And says to me, like, what are your plans? So I could go. In fact, I can even let me get the combo. Let's have a look.
Get an insider.
Let's get the inside, because I can't. It's that long ago. I can't remember exactly what it is. I mean, by the way, there's probably a lot of messages for anyone that's out there, because me and Harry talk a lot. because he's a great guy and he's heavily loves checking in with the players. He does his player welfare, so fair play to him. But here it is. Hello, mate. Harry from Farnham Town here. Appreciate you'll have been inundated today, but would be up for a chat. That's what his words were. And I put, morning, Harry. Appreciate the message. Of course, happy to have a chat with you, no issues. I'm free today this morning before 9 or around lunchtime if that works. And then he said, is now good? I said, yeah, perfect. And then that was a phone call, and then the next morning he sent me a text message with what he was offering me to come and sign at the club. I won't obviously go into that, but we'll have to sit and digest it, to be honest. And then, and then it's crazy because obviously everyone goes Farnham Town, Harry Hugo, 2 and 2 together, money.
Yeah.
Right? And there's no sugarcoating Harry's got money, but that isn't how Harry works.
No.
He is a businessman and he's not stupid.
Yeah.
So he's very much in control of what he wants to do, and he's, as I said, he's not an idiot, so he ain't going to be fooled by somebody that works their way and twiddles their way around things. So, and I've got to give him credit for that, because I'll be honest with you, I was, sort of like, right, okay, let's see what I can do here, and he was very firm on his decision, and it actually kind of fizzled out a bit. And the more I thought about it, I was thinking about it, and I was like, right, I'm not going anywhere for the money. I'm not. And this is anyone that watches the podcast, I'll tell you that much for free, because there's a few clubs in this league that offered me some really good money, and I won't put them out there, but I'm talking like good money. But it wasn't the case. It wasn't about the money. Like, the money's important, but it wasn't like, let me see if I can get the most money I possibly could, and I'll just go and sign there, because then you lose the love for football, because it doesn't mean that you're going to be part of a club that feels like home, or you might not be part of a successful one because you might get paid good money because they can afford to give you that, but the rest of it, and there's no competition, you're not challenging for anything, you're not winning anything, there's no real buzz, no momentum, and then all of a sudden I'm just getting up every day to go training and probably not enjoying it. So the more I kept thinking about it, and I still had conversations to have, I was meant to go and meet a couple of chairmans, to be fair, and I was like, right, I'll tell you what, because I've done this all my whole career, like I've always done my deals myself, because I didn't really understand what an agent did for me. When I had one, I thought, what was the point? I could have done it myself. So I decided to get rid of them, and I knew my worth. That's all that matters. It wasn't about if I could match what he was on. It was like, what do I need or what do I want, so I could do it.
Yeah.
So, and I was sitting there and I thought, so I texted Harry and I said, can we meet? Can we meet up? I want to come and meet you face to face.
Yeah.
Because what I like to do is put a face to the phone call. It's easy to sit behind a phone, think about what you want to say to somebody, and then text it, and then you'll get a reply, and then you can reply in an hour, a day, whenever you like, but you get time to think what you want to say. Whereas if you sit down with somebody face to face, you get all of me, I get all of you.
Yeah.
Like there's no hiding place. Yeah. So there's like, I get to learn a lot about him, he gets to learn a lot about me, face to face, like personal interaction. We had a laugh, we had deep conversation, we spoke about what would be suitable for me, what would be suitable for him, how we can make it work, and we spent an hour together at his £5 billion mansion. We come to an agreement, both very happy with the agreement, and I walked out saying, he said, I said, yep, I signed tonight on the Wednesday morning I went and met him, Wednesday night I signed. But obviously when I drove and I got to his house, he said, I won't give his house away because people will turn up there, but I drove down, the electric gates open, and I'm seeing a bloody Rolls Royce, a Ferrari, I think maybe his missus' car, all with his GOAT number plate on it, driving down this thing, lovely house. And then we made a bit of banter in the interview. Obviously I was like, yep, Harry's sold one of his cars to sign me, because obviously everyone saw, oh, you signed Bobby Joe Taylor from the league above, you must be paying him mega bucks.
Yeah.
But people don't know me. If you know me, that ain't the situation. Like, I'm more than the money. Like, the money is important because I've got family, but it wasn't, let me see if I can go and try and get maximum out of Harry. It was, what's going to be suitable and a way we could do it so that it was good for me, and he was superb at that. Like he was really good with that, and he's really happy about it because it's good for him, and it's a great fit. And in return, I said to him, like, what you get from me as well is not only the football side and the investment, is like, you know, if you ever need me to do anything for the club socially, you know, any visits, anything like that, you know, obviously you're always more than welcome to ask. I love to give back to the community so everyone feels more at home, you know, especially the young kids that love to play football, that are inspiring to me. So if I can make some of them smile, that's wicked. So yeah, it fit the bill, and it's like a home club, mate. It's like, since the minute I come, and we spoke a lot of times, I said I'm really happy with my decision. I felt at home ever since the day I joined. It's got a real good feel about the place, even if we weren't sitting where we were sitting, Jack. To be honest, I still feel comfortable. All the boys are top boys, like really good lads, and some of them ain't even played at this level, and I can't believe it, to be fair, because it's real good players. And it's a club that's definitely growing massively and on the rise. So like it's only going in good places for anyone that's involved in the club. It's exciting times.
And Jono and Jim as well, they're the managers.
Class.
They both haven't managed at Step 3 before.
Nope.
Was that something you kind of thought going into it that was a bit of an unknown, or because obviously you've been under managers at higher levels and have gone to do higher stuff?
Do you know what? It's actually quite refreshing. It's actually quite refreshing, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, because like, you know, Jono and Jimmy and Baz, Nath, all of the staff, to name a few, they're all quality. Like they're all part. It's almost like they're part of the team. Do you know what I mean? Which makes it a little bit unique. And you know, whereas I'm used to the separation. You know, the whole, like there's like business side. Like you know, you get a bit of interaction, but it's not as interactive as what we've got here.
Yeah. And
it's quite refreshing, because like it's a different kind of feel when I'm in the changing room or when I'm around the club.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you feel like sometimes you could tread on eggshells. It's almost like if I did something wrong, I'd be able to speak to Jono about it, and he would be like, "Look, don't worry about it, mate. Like, it's not a problem." Whereas other people going like, "You know, listen, it's a funny one." And Jimbo's quality, mate. I love him. And they're just all really good people, man. And that's all you can ask for. So, but yeah, I mean, like, but Jono's been in football a long time. You know, he's been in football a long time, so he's picked up a lot on the way, and how he wants to do things. And listen, like, you can't be no mug or an idiot or not know what you're talking about when you don't matter where level you play, what, you know, who it is, to, you know, back-to-back promotions, and now sitting in at the moment,
back-to-back.
Yeah, back-to-back, sitting in, yeah, nice. Sitting at the moment after the first time at Step 3 in a playoff spot with 8 games in. I mean, like, I know it's a long way to go, but like, you know, it tells you something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of where that interaction is. There's a lot of what his influence is, and then the player influence, which he allows to happen within the dressing room. So, yeah. So yeah, look, it's completely different to what I would have been used to before, but I'm enjoying it. It makes me feel really comfortable. It's almost like sitting in a dressing room back when I was in year 11, playing with all my mates again, with my PE teacher that loved football and knew football and was just part of us as well, like that we all still speak to this day. So that's the feel I get. But yeah, mate, and then everyone else is that works alongside him is just similar. Jimmy's funny because I love winding him up. Matty, I love winding him up. Quality, it's too easy. I get him all the time. I love it. I'm like, yeah, I just can't help myself, mate. I come in with the energy, and everyone's like, "Oh no, Bob's in a good mood today," and I get them all the time. I love it.
The rest of the team as well, like the players around you. I kind of want to talk. I didn't put it in the vlog that week, but that Poole Town game at the end. Obviously, you had things to say to the players, and you were very vocal, which I think has kind of been missing for the last kind of. Obviously, we have Ryan, but there's no one else who would kind of stand up and be like, "Okay, guys, this is like I'm upset about this. This is what I think. You know, we did wrong. You know, we got to have a talk and a think about this." And having that like extra bit of leadership
Yeah.
Did you kind of know that you were always going to bring that like extra voice, that extra leadership?
To be fair, I've always been like that, man. I'm not shy of, sharing my emotions and how I feel. And alternatively, I know when I need to shut my mouth. But I've always been a bit of a character wherever I've been. To be fair, like I like to have, I like to be in the mixer and try and gain relationships with players and just make people feel comfortable, etc. But that moment after the game comes purely, and this is what I'm like with my under-19s at Dorking, like the way I am, like it comes from pure emotion. Like it's said and done. Yeah. There's nothing ever held against anybody, and it comes because I'm a serial winner. Like I like to win, like that winning feeling, celebrating the small wins, and that comes from within. That comes from somebody within. Like I've always been like that. Played football all my life. Only ever known football. Worked in football. Coached football. Played football. Football mad. Like football mad. Where I used to walk around in jeans and Astros just in case I got a ball out. So that winning feeling is just you can't describe it when you win and you're constantly feeling good, and it affects your day-to-day life and when you're that passionate. So comes from passion. So when I went in after the game like that, and all the boys come up to me after as well and was like, mate, like I completely agree with everything you said, and like we loved that, and that makes us feel good. And what it does is it's the learns. So like I wouldn't have minded if you put it in a vlog. I don't care. It shows good, the good character leadership. I went in and said, I am fuming because going down to a team like Paul, who have looked good this year, that invested a bit, they're a good side. You go down there and win 2-1, and pick up 3 points. Is like there's going to be harder games when you go to the likes of Tiverton away, who've got a horrible pitch, that are tough, that know how to play their pitch, and it's going to be minging. Yeah. You getting a point there is a win. So it was more like, I am fuming because if I was the back four, who I thought defended that day excellently, they were superb. Yeah. The free kick they scored was a moment of magic that doesn't come around often. Good quality, great free kick. Can't do anything about that. Nothing to do with the back four. Defended superbly all game. Were Colossus was solid, and then we're going to the stoppage time. We've got 4 minutes left to go, and we're breaking with the ball towards their goal, and I'm screaming, run to the corner. Now, I made it very clear that it's not personal, because there's still things that happened after that, like decision to try and shoot in a 2 versus 1 attacker, a disadvantage. Run to the corner. You might have held it there for a minute. By that time, they get the regain and the ball turns over, but there's only 2 minutes, and they're asking for the ref, and instead of them playing the way they did, they start pumping it long, which we ate up all day. So it was just the small little margins, and it was like, look, it's nothing personal, lads. Like, how much I love you all to bits. Like, like Oggs that made that decision. I said to him, like, he's one of my friends here. Like, I speak to him loads off the pitch as well, like texting, and he's a fantastic human being. So like, it was like, there's no love lost in this. It's purely fact of emotions that, like, if I don't say or nobody says, we don't learn. We don't learn. So now the next time that happens, we might run to the corner and we might get 3 points. Like that's the important win, and then we win. So it was just a matter of pure emotion and desire to let people understand that, like, that's not okay. Like, because we're so used to, before I was here, the team's so used to just goals. Step 4, like, look at last season, it's success, always scoring goals. Like we're so fluid and attacking and get the ball forward, go and score goals. But as you go up the levels, there's better players, there's more tactical managers, so it's not as easy. So you have to be tactile and understand how to manage games sometimes. So, and that comes just from my experience. So Jack, that's not from that's experience and emotion. That's not from me thinking that I'm better than anybody else. But because at the end of the day, I'm playing at step 3 with everybody else that's playing with me at step 3. So, and we're all in it for the same objective. So nobody's better than anybody. That just comes from wanting to win.
I asked a couple of people of things that I should ask you.
Go on, mate.
And one of the really good ones that came out from it, well, there was a couple. One of them was, do you prefer the kind of a bit more rigid Dorking kind of play, or the kind of more free-flowing Farnham type play on the pitch?
I'm all right answering that. Good question. Me personally, I prefer the free-flowing Farnham way, because this is the bit where me and Mark didn't see eye to eye a little bit. I've always been a bit of a maverick, and Rich and a bunch of amateurs said that to me as well, and he used to say it on his show, on the programme. But I'm a bit of a maverick, where like I play the game as I see it.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I go off script quite a bit, and it's like playing around the corners quickly, following it, like combination play, not crossing it early, trying to beat my man instead. And we had a particular way of playing all the time I was at Dorking. I know it's changing now. Like Mark's been a lot more open to how he wants to do things, because winning is now becoming even more important than obviously, you know, possession and looking good. So yeah, to that question, good question. But for me, it's having the freedom and the license to sort of be able to do the game as I can sort of see it on the pitch. You know, that's when I'm at my best, for sure.
And another one was, what's your favourite Marc White quote that he's ever said? Whether it's to you or just in general. Because there's a few of them. There's a few compilations out there of, because obviously they've been being filmed for a while.
Jesus Christ. Oh, I don't know. That's a tough question. That's a good question, by the way. Jesus. What's my favourite Marc White quote? The thing is, I can't remember word for word, but it'd probably be like, it's got to be one of his boxing quotes that he loved to use all the time in the dressing room. Football's like a boxer, and then he would come out with these lines. Like, he does it all the time. He still does it now. Like, he loves boxing as well. But there's many a swear words and things that he would say in quotes that I would love to repeat, but I can't. But just in general, like I love them all. Like I just love the character that he is, and he hasn't changed ever since I've known him, to be fair. So you see a softer side to him when you're actually not watching him on camera and you're in his presence. But what you see is what you get. He's definitely like Marmite. You either love him or you hate him. You know, I love him. And I think a lot more people are beginning to even more so, because he's never changed. You know, so. Yeah. you got to give credit to him, to be honest. But no, that's a really tough question. I'm going to be honest with you, because I wouldn't say anything in particular. I mean, I wish I could actually think clearly what some of the things he says, because there's a lot of things that crack me up, and I've watched back some of the bunch of amateurs and some of the things he comes out with on there. But I don't think I'm going to be able to give you a solid answer on that. There's too many. There's too many.
There is a lot. Yeah, there's a lot out there, isn't there? Very last question, as we're getting up there now. Is there anything that you'd want, like, Farnham to do more of, like, whether it's on the club side or the fan side, or, you know, just anything that you reckon, like, from your experience coming from other clubs, that they could improve?
Ooh.
I've kind of thrown you under the bus on this one.
Good question. And I think we're pretty much bang on there with like everything that's already going on in the football club, mate. To be honest, you've got a chairman that's running the football club really well, and the growth and the branding and the exposure. You know, we get treated really, really well. I think the only thing I would say is obviously that we probably would train a little bit more in the football aspect, but that's something that's, I'm sure, pending with success at the football club. You know, club's never been in this situation, so but in terms of everything else, I don't think, I mean, they've got everything. We've got the documentary that you run, we're doing this, the podcast with the GoPros. You know, you get looked after in every way, shape or form, to be honest. The fans, there's more fans coming, the ground's good, they've got women's football. Do you know what?
Yeah.
Nah. No, that question's a good question as well, but genuinely, we've got a kit man. I don't think provide towels.
Provide towels?
Provide towels on a match day, so I don't have to bring my own.
Some nice fluffy, like,
just
hotel
whatever,
ones.
it doesn't matter, just supply us towels. That is it. Actually, that is it. That is the only problem I've got with Farnham Town Football Club. So Harry Hugo, when you listen to this, if you do, if not, I'm going to make you skip to the end. Players' towels. It needs to have the badge on it and their squad number, and then I'll be happy. Yeah?
Nice one. Thank you very much.
Top
Appreciate
stuff.
it.
All good, mate.